See that R? That's what they used to brand blacks in America, the runaway slaves, with an R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a hot iron,
runaways.
and they used to put it on their
They
forehead.
used to put it on their forehead or on their chest
And it
or
was
on
like
their arm.
the R is a British law. It's only ever been used on black slaves in the past.
All. That's all.
And can you tell us what
And it's now good enough for us,
Yeah.
the government says. Yeah.
Can
That's
you
what
tell
that
us
is.
what recognise means as well?
Recognise means to enter into recognisance, and recognisance means to enter into the ownership of the slave master.
And
And what about land? Does it affect land?
And yeah, through that, once they take ownership, it seizes the property and seizes the land. And in real estate, anything to do with land and real estate, it seizes.
And-
That's what recognise
And
means.
Nathan Blacklock made a very good point yesterday. He was telling me he made it at that Congress meeting. He said, Nathan was saying that why are we talking about recognition when the 1967 referendum wiped out section 127 so that they can recognise Aborigines and count them in the census. So he said that's already been done. You know, he said, so why are we going now with this here? But what I'm upset about is the fact that this here campaign is about getting the white population to give the authority to the government to govern us blackfellas without our authority. That's the problem here. And they're not asking us whether we want to be governed. That's the problem. And as soon as they recognise us, we're consenting to be governed. But the trouble is we're only 3% of the population, so it's 97% of the population of Australia who are white are going to give them fellas confirmation to govern us blackfellas. That's wrong.
And
That is
taking
totally
authority over our people without a treaty.
Yeah.
And Australia's the only country in the whole Commonwealth that has never treated with the First Nations peoples.
That's right.
And it's disgraceful. And native title is based on, is not the treaties that is like a sovereign treaty, what the other countries have actually been privy to. And it's basically done through the judicial system, which is basically doesn't have any jurisdiction, because one of the amendments that they want to change for constitutional reform is to 116 and section 80 for them to have the jurisdiction over us. So they obviously don't have jurisdiction, so the court case is completely null and void.
Yeah.
And how do the unilateral declarations of independence affect this process?
Well, it scares them because the thing is that we're still independent. And in 1965, Robert Menzies told them, you take the word Aboriginal out of the Constitution, they go outside of our legal jurisdiction. In 1965, have a look at what Robert Menzies said on Hansard in the National Parliament. He said, from then on, all laws have to be for that race of people. When we do anything for Aborigines, like medical services, legal services, housing, it's got to be for that race of people. They do not, and he told them, that referendum of 1967 did not give them the power to pass laws for Aborigines, it gave them the power to pass laws for that race of people. That's all it did.
And
That's why they're trying to fix it now.
And will these declared nations have their own constitution?
Well, that's up to each nation, but the thing is that right now, we're outside of the Constitution, we're independent. The only people who are keeping us as part of Australian society is the courts. The courts are making the rules here, not the Parliament. The Parliament can't make the rules. And the courts in Australia, the judges in the High Court and in the Supreme Courts are the ones who are saying that we are citizens, and they have no legal precedent for that. And all they're going on is the fact that they're saying that Aboriginal people, if we're offered pensions, if we're offered dole, if we're offered assistance by the government, then surely there's what they call equal suffrage. And if you look at all those High Court cases, they talk about equal suffrage. But the trouble is, there's no equal suffrage here because we don't have a right to make a decision for ourselves. None. And they're the ones, it's the courts who are keeping us in this jurisdiction, no one else.
Illegally taking us into jurisdiction. They don't have any lawful grounds.
No, there's no precedent for it.
And that's why Section 80 is why they're trying to change it and amend it so we can come under jurisdiction. So every Aboriginal person in this country that is locked up through the judicial system is locked up illegally, in breach of constitutional law, in breach of British law.
Anyway, we better get down and invite you. Right out. See you over there.